Teachers at a Southern Kentucky elementary school made a disturbing discovery. Police say 2 young students brought guns there.
Can't work it out with a gun pointed at me.
A woman says her husband's ongoing health issues led to him shooting her.
It's the dirty side of the derby, sex trafficking. WKYT investigates what's being done to stop the problem.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. In the last few minutes, we have just learned about new charges in connection to guns brought to a Knox County elementary school. Police say 2 brothers, ages 6 and 7, brought the guns from home. Investigators just told us the parents and a school bus driver have been charged.
Here are the guns that police say teachers at DeWitt Elementary found this morning. Investigators now say a student told the bus driver about the guns before the bus arrived at school, but they say the driver never reported it. Phil Pendleton is tracking the investigation.
It all began when some brothers on a school bus showed some others what they were bringing for show and tell.
While on the bus, they did pull one of the guns out, show a couple students.
The kids somehow got the guns, the one on the right being loaded from home, but police say the kindergartner and first grader thought they were simply toys.
They're very young. They had no idea of what could potentially happened. And again, you know, they had no intention to harm anyone.
Yet they still have to face charges. Police say anyone bringing a weapon on school grounds will face a felony.
One of the weapons was a .380 and the other was a .22 pistol.
School officials say DeWitt Elementary was immediately put on soft lockdown when a child alerted a teacher of what he saw on the bus. This letter was sent home to parents.
We just want to remind parents, you know, check your child's backpack for any weapons or anything that could be dangerous. So many things look like toys anymore.
Officials say no one was hurt, but this is just another example of what could have happened.
We don't feel that they will be locked up. You know, they're 6 and 7 years old. However, we feel that we need to charge those kids because there's a deadly weapon on school grounds. They brought this to the school.
Police say social services were called and the investigation is ongoing. In Knox County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
State police say the parents, 50-year-old John Jackson and 44-year-old Melissa Jackson, were cited for endangering the welfare of a minor. The bus driver, Charles Hans, has been charged with facilitation to unlawfully possess a weapon on school property.
Tonight, a Powell County man faces charges after police say he shot his wife. Police say Gary Morrison later admitted to the shooting. Today, Sam Smith talked to the victim, who says she hopes the shooting will help her husband in the long run.
This home at the end of Charlie Lane in Powell County was the scene of the shooting last night. Gary Morrison's arrest citation says he told police he shot his wife because she was trying to put him in a psychiatric hospital. Jan Morrison says she was just standing by the sink for a drink of water.
Came up behind me and stood there by the refrigerator and asked if I knew my nephew's phone number. So I turned around and looked at him, and then I noticed he had the gun pointed right at me. And
she says her husband wasn't on his medication and she's been taking care of him for the past few years, and says his mental condition has gotten worse over time. And last night was the worst of it.
I turned back around, put my back to him because I didn't want to look at him. Then he shot me in the side.
Jan says her husband has needed help for a long time, and that now he can get the help he needs.
It's a cry for help from him, and he's flared up before, but we've always worked it out, and but I can't work it out with the gun pointed at me, you know.
She wasn't injured badly and was released from the hospital last night.
So I'm walking around today and I'm grateful, and I just, you know, I don't understand why it's happening like this, but I know my husband needs help more than what I can give him, so I think it's an answer that needed to come about.
In Powell County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
We asked Gary Morrison to talk to us from jail today, but he declined our request.
We've been tracking showers and storms as they move across parts of the state, and some of them are strong. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey shows us what's on the first alert defender.
Yeah, these storms packing a little bit of a hell punch out there over the past couple of hours. That's the case right now across the Lexington Metro. Let's get into it with live First Alert Defender as of right now, picking up on those showers and storms across parts of the area. And Defender is tracking the strongest storm now into the western part of downtown Lexington, from Versailles up into Georgetown and toward the Masterson Station area of Fayette County. That's where we're getting a lot of thunder and lightning, some gusty winds. Here's our threatening sky. This is what our live sky cam is picking up on, the leading edge of that storm that is now into the northwestern parts of Lexington. That's a photogenic storm that'll roll across the area. Here's a little different perspective of Defender now. The leading edge of this is just to the west of Masterson Station, over toward the Bracktown area. That'll roll across McConnell's Trace coming up here in the next little bit. That extends a little farther to the south. It's getting to the Keeneland area, Bluegrass Airport, right on top of the New Circle Road area, back toward Dunbar, and to the southwest of that, into Versailles, most of Woodford County, some showers, some rumbles of thunder. That extends a little farther to the south. Every location that we stop at on Defender, picking up on some small hail producing showers and storms that will begin to decrease over the next little bit. Guys, temperatures dropping into the 40s with a heavy band of rain, then recovering into the 50s behind that. I've got 80s in the 7-day forecast when I come back in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. We could learn more tonight about what's next for the Centerpoint development in downtown Lexington.
The issue is expected to come up at the Urban County Council meeting, which is getting underway right now. The city has demanded the block be filled in, but developer Dudley Webb says construction hasn't stopped. This is a live look from our Skycam now. Jordan Valines joins us with the very latest from downtown. Jordan?
That's right. Today, Dudley Webb released a statement saying that he will be at tonight's meeting and that he's ready to be heard in the discussion about the future of Centerpoint.
It's become a back and forth battle over the future of Centerpoint.
Very disappointing economically that this has dragged on so long.
Developer Dudley Webb on one side, holding firm that progress is being made on the Centerpoint project. On the other side, city leaders frustrated that Centerpoint remains a pit.
We're losing a lot of economic activity there. We're losing essentially that resource of that land and all the potential that that carries with it for businesses.
Other cities like Portland, Nashville, and Knoxville have also had problems with large downtown projects that became stalled.
For really big projects, they can be difficult to do.
The reason for that, Professor Chris Bollinger says, is that it's difficult to generate the capital needed to build structures with a price tag upward of $100 million.
We've had a hard time moving cash into the market in new buildings, new construction, new projects because there's been a lot of uncertainty.
Now, the uncertainty of Centerpoint's future lies in the ongoing tug of war between Dudley Webb and city leaders.
Long term, we're going to solve this problem. Okay? I mean, the problem is that the long term could be awfully long.
Councilmember Jake Gibbs told us that he hopes that both sides could come to an agreement and focus on what's best for Lexington. Live in Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Jordan, thank you. Council members are still trying to figure out what the next step will be for the project.
While thousands and thousands of people will visit Kentucky this weekend to celebrate the Derby, there is an underground crime that treats Derby Day as payday. It's the dirty side of the Derby. Investigative reporter Miranda Combs explains why sex trafficking and big events go hand in hand.
This place breeds excitement. Even months before the Derby, there is work underway preparing for a moment. But there are also other preparations being made, ones that are unimaginable.
We must open our eyes and realize that it is an issue.
There is an underground sex trade, a selling of children and women. It happens every day, but it's worse during the Derby.
You would expect to see more incidents of trafficking, human trafficking, during those types of events.
Because of opportunity.
Opportunity, and people are there.
And people look here to sell and buy. This is Backpage.com. One click off the main page and you enter an area where women are being sold for sex.
It's hard to believe that this is actually taking place.
Dr. Teresa Hayden teaches a class on human trafficking.
I was doing work with a graduate student who wanted to go a whole lot further.
She recently finished a study watching Backpage during big Louisville events like the Derby.
When I started to analyze it, definitely saw that the ads peaked on particular events.
The average number of ads on this part of Backpage during her 15-month study was 53. On Derby Day, the number of ads more than doubled. Last year, there were 120.
These events draw in people who have a lot of disposable income. And this is part of their fun.
And these events are definitely payday.
Oh, big payday. That's why they're traveling all over the country and monitoring them. That's why they have their network.
And that network, Dr. Hayden fears, runs deep and migrates to different major events all over the country.
It's a supply and demand business.
Margot Gray knows the system all too well. She lived it for more than a decade.
I was first exposed to trafficking or sold into slavery when I was 5 years old.
By the time she escaped, the trauma had left visible scars. She's now legally blind, the effects of severe bulimia. She says she was sold for sex by someone she trusted over and over again.
By 9 years old, I knew how to do things that no child should ever know how to do. No one. It's unacceptable.
She doesn't share details. We do know the person who she says sold her for sex was never charged. Prosecution, Margot says, was too painful.
It's all about control and controlling the victim so they can stay quiet. So I was brainwashed into believing a lot of things, and it worked.
She copes with the past by trying to help others in similar situations, and she has inside knowledge for those trying to combat it.
This is a business, and that they want to keep their business going.
A business looking for buyers and betting on big payouts.
Yeah, it's a hugely profitable business for the trafficker. Not so for the women who are caught in it.
And Dr. Hayden says the Backpage website is really a marketing tool for traffickers. We've been watching Backpage for the past few days leading up to the Derby. Tuesday, there were 63 ads, which is already above Dr. Hayden's average. Wednesday, it had jumped to 88. Today, by news time, there were 61 ads.
Difficult to hear from that woman who said she started when she was 5.
Absolutely.
So tragic. Were there spikes that surprised the professor beyond this?
There were Labor Day and also the end of February, which is big basketball season. So, but they want to stress that this is happening year round, but it is interesting and unfortunate to see these spikes during these big events.
All right, Miranda, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it is a big night for former Kentucky football player Bud Dupree. He's expected to be picked in the first round of the NFL draft. A preview ahead for you in sports.
But first, some major changes have been planned to a stretch of a busy Lexington road. Very busy road through the University of Kentucky campus is about to get a makeover.
Part of Alumni Drive between Tates Creek Road and Nicholasville Road will be closed after May 10th. UK says crews will put in a roundabout near Commonwealth Stadium. If you are planning to spend time at the Arboretum this summer, you'll still be able to get there if you use Tates Creek Road.
What it's going to do is, if you've ever been on Alumni during rush hour, and it gets so backed up at the stop signs, so this roundabouts just continue the traffic. There's never a stoppage.
Lexington city leaders say detours will be set up along Cooper Drive while construction is going on. Crews hope to have work finished by the fall.
Now.